Good afternoon to all the participants. We are here to start with the second session of this ATAL FDP. Our expert for this session has already joined in, so without any delay, I think we'll start our session. Ma'am, welcome, ma'am. I would like to give a short introduction of our expert today. I would like to welcome Mrs. Priyanka Arora to this session of our AICT's ATAL-sponsored Faculty Development Program on Life Skill Management. Mrs. Priyanka Arora is a psychologist, mental health professional, RCI affiliated counselor, and a wellness coach. She is the founder director of Antarman, Making Lives Happier, which is a center for counseling. She provides counseling services to schools, colleges, government organizations, and the corporate sector. She is associated with renowned organizations like National Institute of Fashion Technology, Jodhpur, DRDO Jodhpur, and Government Polytechnic College, Jodhpur. She is also working as a family court counselor at Rajasthan High Court, Jodhpur. She is rendering her services for army welfare and conducts various wellness workshops for the society. I welcome her to this session, and I'm sure our participants will benefit a lot from
Thank you
her
so much,
delivery
Dr.
today.
Arad.
With this, I would like to hand over the session so that she can carry forward with whatever she has to present us today. Thank you, ma'am. Please accept the invitation.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aradhna, for having me here in this amazing session. And it's really good to know about such a great initiative taken by the Gauhati University. Because as we all know, life skills has become a very important part these days. Every human being should know the life skill because this is something which keeps on, driving us, which keeps on moving us. So besides academic skills, I really advocate the life skills, and I'm really happy to be a part of this ATAL sessions. And thank you so much for having me here once again. So let's start today's session. And the session's topic, as you all know, is Know Thyself. Few things I would like to share with all of you, all my dear participants, that this session is going to be an interactive session. I know it will be very messy if we all turn on the audios or videos, but the chat box is there with all of us. So please feel free to use the chat box because the more interactive the session would be, the more interesting it would be. Because if we are talking on know thyself things, it has to be more interactive because we are going to know about ourselves in next 2 hours session. So thank you for having me here once again, and let's start about know thyself. How many of you know about yourself? Let's start with an ice-breaking session. As we all know, life skills. WHO has also given us 10 important core life skills. And self-awareness or knowing thyself is one of the important core life skills which we will be going to talk upon today. Can you all tell me about yourself? If I ask you that, please share your perception about yourself. Can you please tell me who are you? If I give you a just simple question and you can use the chat box, who are you? Because this is going to be an ice-breaking session, since we all are strangers to each other, it is always important to be comfortable in the session because next 2 hours we will be together. So please let me know who are you by just texting in the chat box so that I can get some idea about all of you in general, because we will be talking on know thyself and then we will know more about what actually knowing yourself is. But before that, let me have a general idea about all of you by just putting some comments in the comment box, in the chat box. Who are you? And I hope you will use the chat box because Are you writing? Because I can't see any chat box here. Just let me see. Okay. Okay, that's great. Great, Dr. Shalini ma'am. Those who have joined, please let me know just one thing about you. Soon we will be starting our PowerPoint presentation so that it will be easier for all of us to make the things more easier and more effective. But meanwhile, if you all are there with me, I know it's a after lunch session. It's going to be quite sleepy for most of you, but we'll make it more energetic and more interesting by all of yours participation. So please be comfortable in sharing your view about yourself, your perception about yourself. Who are you? Okay, fine. That's great to know about the name. Yes, we are human and social animal. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. Okay, few of you are assistant professors and PhD scholars. Great to have such learned audience like you all. I'm damn sure that we'll be learning from each other. At the end of the session, I'll be also taking few takeaways from this learning. Yes, we have more people with us. So, may I know about yourself? Who are you? It's not all about your name, your professional degrees. It's something beyond that. Can you tell me what's that? Who are you? Yes, please let me know who are you by just texting even a single word. Oh, that's the great one. Yes, Ekta Dikshit, optimist. That's the great one. Yes, that's a good start, I must say. That's really a good start. Okay, some identity in any people. Yes. Mm-hmm. Miss Swati is saying faculty. Okay, that's good to know about your professional areas. Disha Khandare. Okay. Mm-hmm. Continuous learner. Yes, Miss Prernaji. It's really great to know that you are a continuous learner. I'm writing few of the great words coming here from a great audience. Okay, more of such energetic words from all of you. If I will say define yourself in just one word. Okay, dedicated teacher. That's again a great thing to know. Mhm. Now you got my point. What actually I want from all of you. Yes, discipline, positive thoughts, good, determination. Yes, wonderful. Mhm. Still few more people are left. Perseverance, great. Very tiny stakeholder in this never ending story of creation. That's wonderful. Really, I'm really mesmerized. Punctual and hardworking. I'm spellbound. It's really, you all are saying so good words about yourself. Mhm. Let's wait for three more and then we will move ahead. Just three more. Because still few people are left with their who are you words. Let's talk upon their who are you words and then we'll move forward. Definitely. Just three more. I just want three more, and then I'll move ahead. Can you please tell me the three more who are you words so that I can start with my session for Know Thyself? Okay. Disciplined and compassionate. Good. That's great. Empathy. Hardworking. That's wonderful. Child of God. Wow. We get one extra. That's the beauty of a wonderful audience. Honest and trustworthy. Wow. Nice. Wonderful. Okay. That's wonderful to know about all of you. Wonderful, great audience. So let's start with the session that's called as Know Thyself. As we all know, we are talking upon one of the most important core skill, that is self-awareness. Somehow we have just give it another name, that is called as Know Thyself. Self-awareness is that important, you know just like any other important core skill. So, if we are going to talk upon self awareness, before that, we should know how we think of ourselves or what self means to be. If we talk about the self, self refers to the totality of an individual's conscious experiences. Now, I would like to just give more emphasis on the word called conscious experiences. As we all know, these days in the fast moving life, we all have become on autopilot mode. If you agree to me, you will definitely agree to me that somehow we all running in a race where we all are thinking on autopilot mode. Somehow we have turned our lives into autopilot. That's why it is really important to talk upon the self or knowing the self. Self is the totality of an individual's conscious experiences. The more conscious we will be, the more successful we will. Just imagine in the morning, if you wake up and just like other morning rituals, if you go to the bathroom and you just start brushing, have you ever given emphasis on the brushing skills? No, never. Second thing, if you are going to your office or your working place, have you ever given emphasis on the road, on the route you have taken so far? Never, because this has become the by default part of your brain, or it is something like an autopilot mode of your brain. These days, when most of the things have been on the autopilot mode, it is really important to come back or back to the roots, and we should know about the conscious experiences. Since this is something which I love to start my sessions with, I'm going to ask you a few questions to you. If I say we have started our academic education by learning A, B, C, D. That's A for apple, B for ball, C for cat, and D for dog. Agree to me. Yes, indeed. If I ask you at this age, definitely we will not talk about A for apple or B for ball. But if I ask you a question, that is, what does B stands for? Can you please tell me what does B stand for? Can you please tell me what does B stands for? Yes. Again, it's a question, and feel free to use the chat box, to use the comment box, so that it will be an interactive one. Let's give more swing to the today's session by replying to my questions. What does B stands for? Yes. Okay. It's brilliant. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. It's brave. It's bright. Great. Wonderful. B stands for believance. Okay. If I go somewhat philosophical, and if I say B stands for birth, you will definitely give the answer for D. What does D stands for? Come on, tell me, what does D stands for? Yes. Definitely, it's death. Wonderful answer. We cannot change the birth and the death. We cannot change the B and the D of our lives. But we can change the entire journey of our life between B to D. Can you please tell me what is that word or what is that one thing which stands from C and that can change the entire journey of life from B to D? Come on, tell me. So that things will be more easier to understand, things will be more easier to take into account for. Okay, courage, wonderful. I'm happy that you all are interacting and consciously giving answers to me, and I'm writing each and every answer. Okay, it's courage, curiosity, wonderful. More answers. Yes, Mrs. Disha. Absolutely right answer. The choices we make throughout the life. Yes, of course. This is something that stands from C, the choices, which changes the entire journey from B to D, birth till death. The choices which we make. And to be very precise, I would like to add a prefix to these choices, and that is conscious choices. That's why I said self refers to the totality of an individual's conscious experiences, ideas, thoughts, and feelings with regard to himself or herself. Can you please tell me, if we have given the definition of self, where does this self comes from? Where does this self comes from? Though I have a PPT for all of you, just check me what's the technical thing. The PPT is not here. Just give me a sec. Meanwhile, you please give me the sources of self. As we all know much about the self, tell me the sources of self. So here we have the presentation for all of you. Yes. Let's make it more clearer and let's make it more comfortable for all of you. Okay. Soul. Okay. More answers. Till meanwhile, we can start the PowerPoint presentations. Ideology, behavior, attitude, awareness. Wonderful answers. Okay. I need some more answers. Okay, beliefs. That's a wonderful answer. Yes, of course. Our self is majorly depends on our beliefs. Wonderful answer. What else? Anybody? You all can add on to your part of answers. How self is formed. Please tell me how self is formed. So this is something we are going to talk upon. Know thyself. Next slide, please. Okay. So we just had completed that ice-breaking session, I am. And you all wonderfully answered to me in beautiful answers like optimist, continuous learner, and so many good things. Now, this is what self is all about. It refers to the totality of individuals' conscious experiences, ideas, thoughts, and feelings with regard to herself or himself. These experiences and ideas define existence of an individual both at the personal and at the social level. Definitely, self is the totality of an individual's conscious experiences. And now, when we are talking upon the sources of self, next slide, please. All of you have answered wonderfully that beliefs and so many good things. So, here, something about the self. As we all know, we all are born as a blank slates. Through our experiences, how certain beliefs about who we are. There is some language errors in this slide, so we will just ignore those language errors. Let's talk upon the sources of self. And that is the first and foremost is unique combination of genes. Second is our interaction with our physical and socio-cultural environment and our experiences. These three sources somehow connects with all those parts which you recently said, like beliefs, the core values, and so many other things. So somehow we are talking upon the sources of self, and if we are going to talk upon the types of self, any idea about the type of self? If we talk upon something, the few idea about the self, let's talk upon the types of self. There are three types of self: the biological self, the personal self, and the social self. If I give an example of the biological self, in the very beginning time, a child cries if he or she is hungry. This hunger is just a reflex, but the child is crying to make you aware about his or her hunger, and that may be called as a biological self because the biological needs are going to be reflected by the child and through various behaviors. Second thing, the personal self, and the third one is social self. After all these three selves, if I talk upon the few basic things which we used to talk upon in our day to day life. The first is self concept, the second is self esteem, the third is self control, and we usually interchangeably use these few words, these few terms. For example, if I ask you, what does self concept stands for you? Is self concept and self esteem are equivalent to you? Just let me know, is self concept and self esteem is equivalent to all of you? Let me know one thing. Please just text yes or no in the comment box. Okay? But sometimes we use it interchangeably. The self concept is, what is self concept? Okay? What does self concept stands for? The self concept is majorly the way we perceive ourselves and the ideas we hold about our competencies and attributes. The view of oneself may be positive or negative. Yes, perceiving our own behavior in terms of our competencies and attributes is called self concept. Uh, is it can it be a positive and negative both at the same time? Tell me the answer. क्या सेल्फ कॉन्सेप्ट एक ही टाइम पे पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव दोनों हो सकता है? ओके okay, there you all are having a good idea about the self. Yes, of course. It can be positive and negative at the same time. We are more positive about ourselves when we focus on our strengths. Same time, if we are focusing more on the weaknesses, we have the negative self concept. And that is absolutely well said by most of you that it can be positive and negative at the same time. Second thing is self esteem. What self esteem stands for? Any idea about the self-esteem? As we all know, these two are poles apart, the self-concept and the self-esteem. The self-esteem is the value judgment of a person about herself, himself. And we all have ICAT, yeah, knowing your worth. Absolutely, Mrs. Disha. This is the psychological image of ourselves. This is a self-respect. Okay. Okay, that's again a wonderful answer. Self-respect, self-worth. Okay, fine. Wonderful answers for self-esteem and self-concept. Can you please tell me how self-esteem is formed? Like when we are talking majorly on the self-esteem, what part plays a very important role in improving our self-esteem? What can be that one thing, the most important thing that plays a very important role in improving or enhancing our self-esteem? Please, over to you, audience. Confidence. Okay, where it comes from? Okay, where it comes from? Because by this way interaction and all, we are coming to our main point. Till that time, I'll keep on asking you few things and few questions. Yes, where it comes from? Self-esteem. Okay. Attitude. Mm-hmm. From psychological point of view, if I say our self-esteem is majorly influenced by a warm and positive parenting. How we have been get parented or been nurtured in our childhood forms our self-esteem at a major level. So this is most important part in our self-esteem, that how we have been get nurtured or parented by our parents or the guardians. So this is the most important part played by our parents in forming our self-esteem. And since we all uh, some of us might be parents, so this is our important role in our child's life to make his or her self-esteem. So self-esteem is really very important part of our life, of our self, and parenting plays a very, very, very important role in framing a person's self-esteem. How it helps in framing a self-esteem? If the question arises in your mind, so the parents, children are the observational learners, as we all know. More they learn by observing. And on the second hand, they have their own self talk. We all have our own self talk. If I'm not wrong, we all have our own self talk some another time. Or we can say every time we keep on talking to ourselves some or other way. If our parents keeps on telling us good things about ourselves, that's not, I'm not saying that parents are not supposed to tell us some negative points or weaknesses of a child. That's not I'm saying. But yes, of course, if we will keep on strengthening our child's strength or the things in which he or she is good at, definitely the self talk of a child will turn into a positive self talk. And the more positive self talk will be processed in his or her brain, more good will be the self esteem. So, here comes the very important role of parents in someone's self esteem or in a child's self esteem. Now, let's come forward to another self thing, and that is self efficacy. Now, it's your turn. What's self efficacy and how it gets framed in someone's life? Yes, what's self efficacy? I will not let you, uh, you know, not think something or not think much. I will keep on asking just for few more minutes. Okay, our potentiality, wonderful. Mm-hmm. And more answers. What is self-efficacy? Our ability to work. Is that so? Am I right? Okay, our talent. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How many of us feels that whatever we are doing or we have done is due to our hard work? Or sometimes people used to say it's my luck, If something bad happened, it was my luck. Okay. Ability to perform, ability to work positively. Okay. That becomes our self-efficacy. Our potential to work or ability to work. Most of the times, we all have few kinds of thought patterns. As we all know, we all are patterns. Besides human beings, we all are patterns. Yes, capacity to execute our own behaviors. Okay, our own behaviors. It's something, yes, a kind of self-efficacy. How effectively we are working in our fields with our talents, and how we are giving, appreciating our talents and appreciating our own capacities. That's again a very important skill related to self, which we all should have in our lives, and we should inculcate in our students and in our children. Because if this part of self is missing in someone, definitely the child or the student or someone will be having a wrong negative thought patterns in themselves. If it is done, okay, fine, it was due to good fate of mine. If it is done, okay, fine, I have been helped by someone, that's why it has been done. Not trusting on oneself, not finding good in oneself is the sign of lower self-efficacy. So we all should understand that believing in oneself or trusting in one's talents and potentials is the major source of self-efficacy. So whenever we are believing in someone, or we are trusting, or we are acknowledging someone, in fact, if we are acknowledging ourselves on small achievements, that again gives us a good spark of self-efficacy. And as we all know, self-efficacy or anything related to self, it's a good ongoing process. We learn day by day, we learn on a daily note if we consciously work on it. Since we had talked upon BCD, birth, death, the choices, the conscious choices, whether we want to excel it or whether we do not want to excel it. This is completely our choice. Something which has been given to us as a part of our genetics, as a part of our experiences, as a part of our environment. Again, this is our duty, this is our responsibility to keep it alive by conscious choices and by constant efforts towards it. So these were the few self notes which we usually use in our life, and more self things we can talk upon. But before that, I would like to start with knowing yourself thing. And knowing yourself thing is not only your strengths, your weaknesses, your interest, your desires, or anything related to your relationships. All of you, again, a question to you. Whatever I said, like knowing yourself, is not only about your strengths, your weaknesses, your interests, your desires, your abilities. What else can we count in knowing yourself? Over to you, my audience, so that we can start with the main part, with the core of this session, and that is knowing yourself. So, over to you. If this is not only our strengths, only our weaknesses, then what else? Tell me. Okay, that's amazing answer. Inner thoughts, attitude. Okay, amazing. Inner thoughts, attitude, more. I want more answers from all of you. Inner thoughts. What else can we count as a part of knowing yourself from the psychological point of view, or from a very general perspective? What it can be? Okay, few more answers, just three more, and then we can start. What else knowing yourself can count upon? Can I have just 3 more answers for knowing yourself? Inner engineering. Okay. Knowing the strength and weaknesses. Others' opinion on you. Okay. Leaving nothing to chance. Okay. Everything to choice. That's amazing answer. Okay. Sitting with nature and in peace. Okay. Is that a part of knowing ourselves? That can be a source of knowing ourselves, that we can sit in nature and feel the peace of nature, because environmental psychology is again a very newly emerging field where we can feel the nature and feel the changes in our feeling, emotions, and eventually our behaviors. Okay, let's talk upon the more things. Next slide, please, so that the things will be more clearer to you. That's again a very well known thing to us, that is awareness of self is the conscious knowledge of one's own character, feeling, motives, desires, is known as self awareness. Next slide, please. No, we are looking for the previous slide where we will be having a cycle of thoughts, emotions, cycle of thoughts, emotions. Yes, this is the chain of series happens in our mind, or we can say it's a mental process which occurs just before a behavior. And this is something what we are, what we think. What we think, we become. Majorly, this has been said most of the times. How our thought affects our feelings, and then our feelings eventually affects our behavior. If we are talking about knowing yourself, since we had a talk upon like knowing yourself is not just knowing your strengths, your weaknesses, your desires, your interest. It is more of how you think. It is more of your thought patterns. It is more of how you react to certain stimuli, how you behave in certain situations of your life. If you are under stress, how you will deal with that stress. You will flight, you will fight, or you will freeze in that particular situation. This is the main thing we should know about ourselves. This is something which we should give conscious effort on, how we should deal with our own thought patterns, instead of just knowing about the physical body or just knowing about the cognitive systems or cognitive processes. That's our interest, our goals, or something like that. Yes, indeed, they are one of the most important parameter in our life, that what are our strengths and what are our weaknesses. But the whole thing totally depends on our patterns. As I said already, we are human beings and we are patterns. We work on a certain pattern. It's all up to us that how we behave depends on how we feel, and feeling solely depends on how we think. So, if we are talking about knowing yourself or knowing ourselves, we have to think consciously upon how we think, how we are giving awareness to our thoughts and then feelings and then behavior. So, if we are actually looking forward for conscious awareness on our thoughts, I have a very small piece of meditation for all of you, and that would be a self awareness meditation. I just quote few guidelines or few points that how we are going to execute it or how we are going to process it. So that meditation is going to be with the piece of music, in which what we are going to do is majorly we all have been into the meditation practices, but what we are going today is something, let it be kind of thing. Whatever thoughts you are thinking, whatever you are processing, let it be. Just give the conscious effort, the conscious awareness to the present moment, to the present thought process, to the present thought pattern of you, because this awareness meditation is going to focus on your physical body, your mental body, and your emotional body. This is not, in certain meditation, we have been said that visualize certain things, visualize certain goals, certain areas, or certain situations of your life. Or in other kind of meditation, like guided meditation or some other meditations, we used to give gratitude to someone, we used to forget and forgive about certain things. But here in this self-awareness meditation, what we are going to do is totally aware about your physical body, your mental body, and your emotional body. You may feel a good fluctuation or change in your state of energy, state of emotion. Let it be. Just don't focus much on what to think, on how to think. Let it be. Feel free to think whatever you want, because we are just noticing how our thought process is working right now. As I said earlier, we all are patterns. We human beings are patterns. So, this meditation is meant to note the patterns which we are just right now thinking or experiencing. So, these are the few things which I have to tell you before we start this meditation practice. And one more important thing, that if you will practice or inculcate this habit of self awareness meditation in your life, it will really help you, and it will give you a good conscious thought over your thought process, your physical body, and your mental emotional bodies. So if all of you are ready, let's start with this meditation. For that, just feel comfortable wherever you are sitting, on a chair, on a in an office, wherever you are sitting. Be comfortable and get a good relaxing position so that you can feel the real peace and calmness with this meditation practice. So let's start with this meditation. For that, I want your eyes to be closed. Shut down your eyes and just be comfortable wherever you are sitting. Let the things go and come. We will start the music soon, and with the help of this music, we'll give the awareness to all of you. Let me check the music. Just give me a second. There is something. Let's wait for a minute to let the music start, and then meanwhile you can just close your eyes and feel, just relax and be comfortable. Whatever, wherever you are sitting, whatever you are thinking, let's pay the attention to the feet. We will start to focus on our physical body and then to our mental and emotional body. Let's start first with the physical body. For that, just breathe in. Don't give more pressure on your breathing. Let it be the more comfortable. Give your attention to your feet. Move forward to your calves, to your knees, to your thighs. Any pain in any of them, just feel that pain. Move forward to your lower body and then to your abdominal areas. If you have any digestive issues, just focus on it and give a conscious awareness. Any problem you are facing, move towards your chest. If you have any problem in your chest and you find it difficult to handle, just give that conscious awareness to the surrounding areas. Focus on your facial muscles. Just be comfortable. If you are feeling any pain in any of the parts of your body, give the conscious awareness to it and then move to the emotional body. Focus on your thoughts. Just feel what you are thinking. What was your last thought? Just think about that. Was it the productive thought? Was that thought hindering you? Was that a self-limiting thought? Was that an empowering thought? Just feel and focus. Just emphasize on what you are thinking. Just think about your thinking. It's always very important to think about the thinking. And we never do that. So that's one more important thing which you will do, and that is think about thinking. What you were thinking and what was the last thought. Was it effective? Was it productive? Was it useful to you? Or was it self-limiting thought? Was it empowering thought? Just feel what you felt after that thought came into your mind. Did it trigger you? Did it stress out you? Did it made you anxious? Or did it made you peaceful? This is the real awareness. This is something we all need to do, and that is awareness of our thoughts, awareness of what we are thinking, how we are thinking, and what we should not think. Just by thinking all these important questions in your mind, after processing all these questions, I would like you all to just give a conscious thought to what you think, and then you can slowly open your eyes. By a conscious mindset, by the attention you imparted to your thought process, to your patterns. It's not an overnight process to know more about your thoughts, to know more about your feelings, your emotions, and your behaviors. But yes, at least we can start giving more attention, a conscious attention to the thought patterns, to the process we have been thinking on. You can slowly open your eyes by energizing yourself and by asking yourself whether the thoughts I was thinking were good for me or were not so good for me, were positive for me or were not so positive or negative for me. Here I'm going to say it's not always important or it's not always possible to think positive, but to always acknowledge what we are thinking is important. We can think positive or we can think negative, but how we are acknowledging that particular thought is always important. Though we have this tendency or this our brain's tendency to think positively and negatively throughout the lifespan, it's always important to give emphasis on all these patterns of thoughts what we are thinking. So anybody, if you can say or you if you can share with all of us that do you find any negative thought pattern in during this process of self awareness, or you found a positive thought pattern? Anybody, please share what you found in your thought patterns. What you found in your thought patterns. Was it the empowering one or was it the self-limiting one? Definitely, it is one of these two, either the empowering one or the self-limiting one. If you want to share with all of us, it will be great so that everybody will get this courage to share their own thought patterns with all of us. Anybody? Was it the empowering one or was it the self-limiting one? Anybody? Okay, it was a self-limiting one. Anybody else? Self-limiting. Mm-hmm. Okay, we get three answers, and all of these were okay. Family. Mm-hmm. The social self is more conscious. Thought patterns. Okay. Thought patterns are the patterns which we usually, what patterns we think upon. And these thought patterns are majorly influenced by the core beliefs and the values of our childhood, our past experiences. In our childhood, if certain beliefs and certain values have been inculcated in us from the family member, from the parents, or from our environmental experiences or the cultural values, this has become unconscious thought patterns where we can develop ourself as a part of our self-concept, our self-esteem, our self-efficacy, our self-control, as well as self-regulation. So these all things are the byproducts of our thought patterns. How we think, how we perceive, or how we behave. Our thoughts are the seeds where we can, our thoughts are the seeds which are implanted in the mind. Our mind is a garden where we are implanting the seeds of thoughts. We can plant good seeds or we can plant weeds. Our negative thoughts are just like weeds, which just results in nothing. So that's more important to count that these thought patterns, which are the self-limiting ones, as we have seen, three of the responses, they come out as the self-limiting thought patterns. So here I would like to throw some light on how to overcome these self-limiting thought patterns. We all should know that there is a part of our thought that is called as automatic negative thoughts. They framed with the result of our core beliefs, our values, or our past experiences. For example, if an employee is there and he or she has been scolded by the higher authorities due to a certain task not done properly, this incident has been happened twice or thrice in the same person's life. Due to this particular event or incidents, that person has created a negative self-image in his or her mind that I'm not good enough at my work. I'm not doing this or that in a good way. I should change myself instead of the thought that I should change the way I work. That person has created a negative self-talk, and that self-talk has become a loop of thoughts. I showed you the cycle of thoughts, feelings, and behavior. Similarly, we have get a cycle of thoughts in our mind with these all things, the beliefs, the values, the past experiences, or our cultural values also. So the employee is there and he has been or she has been scolded by the higher authorities just because of something not done properly twice or thrice. That person has created the negative self-image of himself in his mind just because of twice or thrice things not done properly. This is not the right way, but it happened in all of our lives that we used to create a negative self image by just not doing a work twice or thrice not properly. What we should do at that time is we should reflect on what we had done and what we can do to make it more properly, to make it more clearer, to make it more effective and more errorless. But at that time, what happened in our mind, in our brain, that automatic negative thought started and they started processing. It creates a cycle of negative thoughts. Eventually, it results into a negative behavior and which results into a negative result. As we all know, no situation can give result without your response. How you respond to a situation will decide the result. If you are responding to the situation in a positive way, definitely that situation will give a positive result, and vice versa. But what we usually do in our daily lives, it is we are not taking things to be corrected. We are just taking things as this is a part of me. And there are few thinking errors which we keep on thinking, and that becomes the reason of our negative self talk. And our negative self talk is the root cause of our self limiting beliefs or the self limiting thought patterns. As you three of you have said that we get this self limiting beliefs or self limiting thoughts during this self awareness meditation. So we have to work on the self talk, which is really a very, very, very important part of our lives. What we usually do or what we usually say is self talk is a sign of madness. The one who do the self talk, he or she is a psyche. No, it is not like that. We all have the experience of self talk once in a while. So this is most important part of you which keeps you motivated, or at the same time it can demotivate you. And this is something we all should practice in our day to day life just to overcome all these self limiting beliefs and just to make it more empowering beliefs. And here is the first step of our self awareness on knowing thyself. Since we started with this thought that knowing thyself is not just knowing your strengths, your weaknesses, your interests, your desires, what you love to do, or what you do not love to do. It is more than all these things. It is more of your thought patterns. It is more of your self limiting beliefs, and it is more of your empowering beliefs. How you think and what you think is more important than anything else. So let's move forward for more self awareness activities, which we are going to start in the next slide. Next slide, please. Okay. So this is a list of few self-awareness activities which we can do to make things more clearer and more effective. One of the most important self-awareness activities which I recently shared with all of you is daily reflection. And now it's time to ask you another question, and that is how many of you do this as a part of their routine, the daily reflection? Can you please tell me how many of you do this activity as a part of their routine to make their thought pattern more effective? Yes. Anybody? Okay. It's Pravina. Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Daily reflection. Reflection of what you did, how you did, how better you can do, and much more things. Anybody from all of you, do you practice this daily reflection activity? Okay, tell me what is reflection? That would be more easier thing to interact. What is reflection? Yes, what is reflection? Anybody out there? What is reflection? Can you give me an idea about what is reflection? When we look at the
Um,
mirror, yes, when we look at the mirror, what we see? We see ourselves, right? And when we write or when we want to see, okay, yes, Mamta, Miss Mamta, yes, Mamta ji.
Ma'am, reflection means it's whenever we give love to someone, in return we also get uh, also we gain a love. But if you hate someone, then in return we get a reflection. In a reflection we get a uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, opposition, that is angriness.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fine.
So
Anybody else?
just like we when we see a mirror, it gives
Mm-hmm.
whenever we are happy, you get a happy reflection on the same face.
Uh, yeah, absolutely. Wonderful answer, Mamta ji. It was really good answer. Anybody else? I would like to know more from my great audience that what is reflection? As she said wonderfully, when we stand in a mirror, it shows actually what we are or who we are. Same thing if we want the reflection of our mind, our thoughts, how we can get the image of our mind. Yes, how we can get the image of our mind. Is it possible? Is it possible to always look into the others' minds and then get the idea of our mind? It's not possible. Daily reflection is that activity which we used to do. Face is the mirror of your thoughts. Okay. Face is the mirror of your thoughts. Mhm. If we say our behavior is the mirror of our thoughts, that would be more appropriate, sir, if I'm not wrong. In long terms, okay, that whatever is there on our face like expressions or something like that, it is the mirror of our thoughts. Absolutely wonderful answer. But yes, when we are talking about daily reflection, we have to develop certain habits of reflection where we are writing about what we have done so far and what improvements we need to do and what things we have done wrong and what can be done right. Because sometimes whenever we are getting all these self-awareness activities, we fail to get the right kind of self-awareness because we always want others to make us sure about ourselves, and that's not the always right approach towards the self-awareness. It is something, if we are knowing about ourselves, that's the most appropriate approach. Since it is written as a third point like feedback, and we will be definitely knowing more about how you can get feedbacks in a right appropriate way. But the first and foremost is the reflection, and reflection by yourself, that what you want and how you want, what you did wrong, what can be the possibilities of doing it this thing in a right way. That all can be framed and structured according to the way. Journalizing. Again, journalizing is that important thing which we can do daily as a part of our thought pattern recording system. How many of you practice journalizing, or do you know what journalizing is? Any idea about what journalizing is? What is journalizing? Can you give me any idea about this? Okay, fine. Okay, if I ask, how many of you know about diary writing? Any idea about diary writing? It's very common answer, common question. Okay, fine. So journalizing is some modified or more therapeutic form of diary writing. When we were writing diaries in our childhood, we were writing everything we want to write. Few of us may be having this habit of diary writing yet. Journalizing is more therapeutic approach towards the diary writing, in which we are recording, yes, putting our thoughts in a written format. It has been said that whenever we are projecting our thoughts in a written way, they come out. There are various means of putting our thoughts out is, for example, art, for example, doodling. For example, these days, mandala is a very therapeutic way to keep our thoughts sorted. Sometimes what we feel in our thought system or our thought process, it's just like what we say that woolen ball. We all have seen that woolen ball which used to knit the sweaters and all. It gets entangled. How it looks? A very messy, entangled woolen ball. Sometimes, or I must say most of the times, we get our thoughts entangled in that way that we do not get any any thread coming out so that we can pull it and we can sort it, or we can keep it a very neat and clean ball again. This is the most effective way, and that is journalizing, where we can write down all our thoughts and we can make ourselves so easy and so free from all those negative thoughts or disturbing thoughts, or we can say not so helpful thoughts. If I use the appropriate word, not so helpful thoughts, it works well when you will journalize your thoughts in a very appropriate way. It can be done in the morning, it can be done before sleeping, so that when we sleep, our subconscious minds get so activated that it keeps on working while you are sleeping. So try to make it free by moving all those unhelpful thoughts on the page, in a diary, in a journal, so that things will work in your mind towards a positive, towards more helpful, towards more productive areas. That's really very important. Okay, if you outburst your feelings when you are not able to show to the person, sorry, I cannot read that properly. Just let me, just a minute. Yes. Uh, One who has asked this question, yeah, by writing in a diary. Yes, that's the more appropriate way. But here I would like to add on my opinion then, that when you cannot outburst on that one person, whatever you want to say, yes, of course, that first aid is perfectly all right to write in a diary. But on the very second note, if you will keep on suppressing that particular emotion towards that particular person, it will create problem in the long run. It's better to go sit after your anger is over and talk about that particular event, that particular situation, to the concerned person, to the related person, so that things do not get messy in your mind. What we used to do sometimes, we think if we suppress our negative emotion, it gets removed or it gets deleted. No, it never happens. Whenever we are suppressing, whenever we are just trying to keep that negative emotion the backside of our mind, it is there in your mind. It has not been removed, it has not been deleted. It just get under the layer. And whenever certain thoughts, negative thoughts, gets under the layer, they create more problem. Just imagine, just imagine about a potato in your kitchen area. When you are just refilling the potato buckets, one of the potatoes gets down the lane and it get fixed into any hole of your kitchen or something like that, that you did not find that particular small potato anywhere in your kitchen. But after 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, when that potato gets rotten and it started stinking, and you found that foul smell all in your kitchen, and that you are not able to find that potato in the area, and you are still thinking, what is that one thing that is stinking, what is that one thing that is stinking, I'm not able to find. Soon that stink, that foul smell reaches to your drawing room, reaches to your bedroom, reaches to your living area, and still you are not able to find that particular rotten potato. But one fine day, when someone you called upon to make the things more, what happened, what is stinking and this and that, you called a house help to make all the things out and that search out for that one thing which is creating this foul smell. And that house help started moving all the things, and then she found that small rotten potato in some corner of your kitchen. Similarly, that one negative thought which has not been corrected, which has not been resolved, worked like that potato which gets inside or back of your mind but has not been removed. Once it is removed, only then it is being healed. So there are various means to take out such unhelpful or negative thoughts from your mind. Something like daily reflection. When you write, you can know about yourself, that what things makes you happy, what things makes you sad, what things makes you fearful, what things makes you anxious, what things makes you stressed out. Journalizing, doodling, mandala, these are the therapeutic approaches to the self-awareness activities and to make your thought patterns more clearer and more productive. This another one is get feedback. This is one of the most important way to have the self-awareness. Is whatever others perceive about ourselves, whatever others think about ourselves is also very important as a part of our social self, or so self-esteem and more things like this. So whenever you get feedback, try not to get feedback from every second person, because it will somehow create a negative impact on yourself if that person is not of your what I can say, that that person must be having some grudges with you or not having some good relationship with you. And if you're asking and he or she is consciously not giving a right feedback to you, trying to demoralize or trying to lower down your self-esteem, don't do that. Get the honest feedback from your inner circle. It doesn't mean that you ask the person to get your back pat. You should not want to get the pat on your back. Instead, you should have the intention of getting a genuine and a good, right feedback from your person, your people. The next part, that is again a very, very, very important part to be self aware, that is mindfulness. These days, when everybody is talking about the mindfulness things from chaotic to calmness, again, this is a very wonderful psychological attribute which we can say that if you are mindful, definitely your mind is being fueled. And if you are mindful, that is full of chaotic things, you are not getting the right mind fuel. So, whenever we are trying to be mindful, always remember one technique which I'm going to share with all of you, that is called as sensory grounding technique. If you want, you can just write down as a part of mindfulness exercise, which means sensory grounding technique says giving attention or paying attention to all the sense organs, all the five sense organs, which gives the more awareness to you as a whole, the holistic approach. So, by paying attention to all your sense organs simply means try to watch five things in your surroundings. We can do it right now also. So, wherever you are sitting, try to watch five things in your surroundings consciously. Very consciously, just give attention to five things in your surroundings. Maybe you have not, you might not have give a look to certain things which you are looking right now. The conscious look, the conscious look is always very important when we are talking about mindfulness. Four things which you can hear, five things you can watch consciously, four things which you can hear, and that is Even you can hear the voice of your fan running in your room. Even you can hear the chirping birds outside your room. You can hear anything. Just if you are sitting in your room and there is some activity going on in the kitchen, you can give a conscious ear to that voice and try to pay the attention to your hearing abilities. That is really very, very important and effective exercise whenever you want to be mindful. That is one of the most important things. Three things which you can touch. You can touch the things wherever you are sitting. Like you are sitting on a table, you can feel the texture of the table. Just feel the sense of touch. Just pay attention to this sensory organ of touch. Feel the texture of the table. If there is a bottle near you, feel that bottle with wholesome attention, with the conscious attention to the bottle. If you are sitting and you're holding a pen, just feel the pen just like you never did before, because you always did it on the autopilot mode. Right now, you are paying the attention consciously. As we all know, attention is a state of mind. And right now, what we are doing is we are paying our attention to the pen wholesome. Just feel the texture of this pen, feel the pen in your hand. Two things which you can taste. Two things which you can taste. Simply say, if you have a glass of water near you, you can taste that water consciously. There is a beautiful concept of mindful eating these days, which leads us towards self awareness, that what we are eating, how we are eating. And it has been said that the more we chew our food, the more effective it will be. And that is the most beautiful concept these days, being practiced even by the health professionals and being advised by them to get the right mental health as well as the physical health. So, mindful eating is really important, and here we are focusing on two things mindfully, tasting these two things mindfully. If you have a chocolate nearby on your table or something, just fennel seeds, you can chew them and you can feel the taste very mindfully. More mindful you will be, the more self-aware you will be. Since in this session we are focusing more on the thought patterns, more on how you think, how you process your thoughts, how you process your emotions, and then eventually how you behave. So that's really very important in this area of thinking and processing, that how mindful we are, because the more mindful we would be, the more things get into our attention as a part of self awareness. And last but not the least, one thing: smell it. Whatever in your surroundings, just try to get that smell mindfully. You might not have smelled any of that thing in previous time with those mindfulness efforts. So this grounding activity is one of the best activity all of you can practice at any point of your being in office, being at home, being in any communication, kind of like you are in a train, you are in a bus, you are in your own car. You can practice any of these grounding techniques as a part of self-awareness, and it really gives you a powerful and positive results. Next, and that is Johari Window. Johari Window is again a wonderful self-awareness activity which we will be taking in detail. So please tell me, anybody out there knows about what Johari Window is? Anybody? Johari Window क्या है? What is Johari Window? Am I audible to all of you? Okay. What is Johari Window? How many of you know? No idea. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk upon the another self-awareness activity which is really helpful in a long run and which is called as Johari Window. Before that, before starting, yes, quadrants, of course, Varsha, Mitraji, you're right. Before starting this Johari Window, can you please tell me that have you ever practiced that grounding technique before, which I've recently explained you? Anybody? Okay, Dishaji, you practiced it. Okay, Dishaji, I would like to ask you, was it helpful to you? Um, Mrs. Disha has said that she practiced. Okay, it's a great tool. Wonderful. So, indeed, she is an example to all of us that it's a great tool practiced by herself and it will really help you all the grounding technique. Now, let's talk upon the Johari window. Since few of you knows about this wonderful tool, this model is a simple and useful tool. Immediate mirror of self. Yes, of course. Improving self-awareness and mutual understanding between individuals within a group. It has been given by Joseph Luft and Harry Ingham. That's why it is called as Joe from Joseph and Harry from Harry Ingham. So this is a really wonderful tool which gives a very clear idea about the self-awareness. And now when we are talking about the 4 quadrants, tell me one thing. I have few questions which I can give you in written if you have a pen paper with all of you. So I can give you few questions to work upon where we can talk upon this non-self, few questions how you can get to know about this quadrant of Johari window and just like every quadrant. So if you are interested, I can give you few questions in written if you have a pen and a paper with all of you, so we can write few questions related to each quadrant. If you're saying yes, I can quote those questions. Please raise your hand if you are all interested in getting those questions. Okay. More? Anybody else? Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay. So we have few hands raised. So we'll be definitely discussing those questions for each quadrant and that will help you to understand about yourself more easily and more effectively. So let's start with the first quadrant. Next slide, please. Let's start with the next quadrant, which is, okay. This quadrant is known as known self. That things we know about ourselves and others also know about this. The information about the person's, his attitudes, behavior, emotion, feelings, skills, and views will be known by the persons as well as by the others. This is mainly the area where all the communication occur and larger the arena becomes, the more effectual and dynamic the relationships will be. This is again a very good tool for feedback, and feedback solicitation is a process which occurs by understanding and listening to the feedback from another person. Here I'm giving you few questions. I'm having 5 questions which you can write as a part of this known self, and these questions will be a kind of your evaluation process also, as I've been told that I have to give few questions as a part of evaluation. So please write down few questions from this quadrant that is known to self. First question is, just write down, describe yourself in 3 words. That first question is, describe yourself in 3 words. The first question is, describe yourself in 3 words. This quadrant is also called as open area. because it is known to us and known to others as well. So you can write describe yourself in 3 words. The second question related to this quadrant is, what are your 3 main interests? What are your 3 main interests? What are your 3 main interests? The next question is, what things are you most comfortable with? What things are you most comfortable with? What are your strengths? And the fifth one is, what are your weaknesses? So these are the 5 questions related to this open area of Johari window. Next slide we are going to play, and which is going to be the blind area. The blind area would be unknown by self. Let's move ahead with the next slide, and which is the blind self. It is considered as a blind spot. Information about yourself that others know in a group, but you are unaware of it. Others may interpret yourselves differently than you expect. The blind spot is reduced for an efficient communication with feedback from others. So this blind self is something which we do not know about ourselves, but others know. Let's have few questions for this quadrant of blind self. If you are ready, you can write down. This you can use as a part of your feedback from others. And this is something like that. You can ask and you can get the information about yourself, just like, describe me in 3 words. If you are working and if you are a teacher, if you are teaching students, you can ask them that describe me in 3 words. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What things you like about me? And what things you dislike about me? So here goes a very honest feedback from the person with whom you are working, and that will give a much more better idea about this blind self or a blind spot where you don't know about yourself but people know about yourself. So that is going to be a very good self-awareness quadrant where you can know much more about yourself. The third one is, next slide. The third one is, this is the hidden self. Okay, I'm going to repeat it. No issues. Previous slide, please. This is the blind self, one of the quadrant of Johari window, a self-awareness tool. This quadrant is not known to us, but known to others. Others may know about this area of ours, but we do not know. There are few things which might be known to others, but not known to us. And they are being spotted by us by asking few questions as, describe me in 3 words. What are my strengths? You can ask to your students or you can ask to your colleagues so that they can tell you much more better idea about yourself. What are my weaknesses? What things you like about me and what things you dislike about me? Here I want to clear one important thing is, this might be the personal perception of the person from whom you are asking about these all things. It is not always a thumb rule to understand these perception as a whole, because if the person whom you are asking is having certain perceptions for you and he or she is writing in that way, you do not take it as a generalized idea. But yes, of course, if a number of person are giving you the same idea, you can make it as a proper feedback. So this is again, am I clear? Everybody's clear with this blind self of the Johari window. Let's move forward with the next quadrant. Okay. This one is the hidden self. Hidden self is not known to others. Just a minute. Yes. This is not known to others. Things we know about ourselves, but others do not know. This is a very hidden part of us. And if we talk about hidden part, this is something, our secrets, our feelings, our past experiences, our traumatic events, which we do not want to share with anybody else. This is something actually we do not want to share, and sometimes, or most of the times, this hidden self gets dominated over the other three quadrants, and that affects our productivity, that affects our professional life as well as our personal life. So it is written, information that is known to you but will be kept unknown from others. Can be any personal information which you feel reluctant to reveal. This includes feelings, past experience, fears, secrets, etc. We keep some of our feelings and information as private as it affects the relationships, and thus the hidden area must be reduced by moving the information to the open areas. Yes, it has been clear to all of you that we should not enlarge this hidden area to make ourselves more positive and more clearer. The questions with this quadrant are here as follows. These are the few most important questions I would like all of you to write down. Just make short your hidden area and enlarge your open area. And that is, what is your biggest insecurity? If you know about your biggest insecurity, it will be easier for you to overcome that insecurity, because some or other times we do not understand, we feel insecure, but we do not have the clear idea about our insecurity. So it is really important for all of you to know about your hidden insecurity. So here goes the question number 1 for the hidden self, and that is the biggest insecurity. The second question is, what is one of your secret that you do not want to share with anyone? Here, I would like again to add, sometimes we have some secrets, but we do not know why we do not want to share and what is that particular secret is. Here comes a very messy situation where we keep on struggling with that particular thought, with that particular emotion of uh, not sharing with someone or keeping with ourselves, and I'm not getting the clear idea. I'm so confused. I'm so reluctant to share these feelings with someone. And the less you will have the emotional disclosure, the more you will suffer the pain and trauma. The third question is, what is your biggest fear? If you know that this is my fear, definitely you will try to work on your fear and you will definitely overcome it. Until and unless you do not know about your fears, how you will work on them. So that's again a very important question related to this hidden self is, what is your biggest fear? So these are the three questions for the hidden self, and next move towards the next quadrant or the last quadrant of this Johari window, and that is going to be the unknown quadrant, or not known to me and not known to anybody. Yes, the last one. This is the unknown self. Things neither we nor others know about us. This is again a very difficult area which says many difficulties. This information which are unaware to yourselves as well as others. This includes the information, feeling, capacities, talents, etc. Sometimes we have certain talents, we have certain potential, we have certain capabilities, but we do not know about them. Until and unless we started working on them, we do not know that my strength is to work in under a pressure. and my weakness is this. So we should know about these areas of our unknown self. This can be due to traumatic past experience or events which can be unknown for a lifetime. The person will be unaware till he discovers his hidden qualities and capabilities through observation of others. Open communication is an effective way to decrease the unknown area and thus to communicate effectively. We have few questions in with regard to this quadrant, and they are as follows. Question number 1, and that says, am I happy? Question number 1 says, am I happy? It's a big question. If I ask you, feel free to answer me. Are you happy? It's a very simple question, yet with a very intense emotion. Are you happy? Over to you, audience. It's always very difficult to share the feelings and emotions at such platforms. So I will not force you. Sorry if I did so. So again, the next question is, do I enjoy what I do? The second question is, do I enjoy what I do? The third question is, do I have beliefs and behaviors that are learned and not truly mine? That are truly not mine, but I have learned over the period of time. So it's again a big question to discuss upon, that do I have certain beliefs and behaviors that are learned by the past experiences? Okay. Do I need to repeat these questions of the last quadrant? That's what you are asking, ma'am? Okay. Yes, I will. The first question is, am I happy? I said a very simple question with intense feelings, intense emotions. It's very difficult to answer a very simple question that am I happy? It's not known to me and at the same time not known to others. The second question is, do I enjoy what I do? The second question is, do I enjoy what I do? The third question, do I have beliefs and behaviors that are learned, not truly mine? It simply says there are certain beliefs and behaviors we learn from the environment, from the cultural values, from the friends and relatives, but they are not truly ours and they are not so helpful also. So try to focus on all those behaviors and beliefs that are learned faultily but not a part of yours. If they are obstructing your progress, please try to change them. But for that, you should know about all those beliefs and behaviors which you learned over the period of time. Next question for this unknown quadrant is, do I have great skill or talent that I'm not aware of? Try to observe yourself, try to introspect yourself, analyze yourself, that do you have any great skill or talent which you are not aware of? Next question, question number 5 is my health as good as it can be? Is my health as good as it can be? Sometimes we fail to give a conscious awareness on our physical health as well as mental health. We keep on working, we keep on running, keep on doing all certain things without knowing how am I feeling from the health point of view. Do I have thoughts and feelings that holding me back? Just like we started with the meditation and few of you came out with the self-limiting thought patterns. Do you have certain patterns which holds you back? So these are the 6 questions in this quadrant of unknown self. Since we all want to minimize this quadrant just to make ourselves more aware about ourselves, try to answer all these questions related to all the four quadrants, it will give you a very fair idea about yourself. And that is going to be the right kind of self-awareness or knowing thyself, I must say. Now, the next slide is going to be, next slide, please. Okay. First of all, before discussing this slide or these questions, I would like to know, is it clear? Is the Johari window is clear to all of you? Is it clear to all of you? Okay, fine. Okay. Any queries, anything which you think that this part is not clear or this quadrant you need to know more about, I can repeat it. So please feel free to do so. Otherwise, all of you, please use the chat box to say yes. I can see 16 more participants. So please say yes, then only I can start with this slide of who are you. Okay. Still, we have many more people. Okay. Not taking much of your time. And this is a good blend of questions which I took from every quadrant. And it gives you a very fair idea. If you are not willing to answer all those questions which I just recited, this is a very good blend of questions where you can answer and get the good idea about yourself. So if you all say, just take a quick kind of, what I should say, a rapid fire round kind of thing, so that you all can participate and we feel the energy at its highest peak, that I'm a human being. Be free to answer all these questions. Just be energetic. I'm a human being that loves. Come on. I need fast answers from. Come on, let's play a rapid fire round so that you will be understanding all these things so clearly, that how much you know about yourself from the beginning till this time at 4:35. We should know that after knowing much about the four quadrants of Johari window, after knowing much about the thought patterns, after knowing much about that my thought pattern is empowering or self-limiting, or my automatic negative thoughts is dominating me on my thoughts, or after knowing the self-awareness meditation, how much you get to know about yourself. This is a quick rapid fire round for all of you for next 5 minutes. That what you loves to do, what you want to do, what you used to be afraid of, what you are driven by, what inspires you, what makes you happy, what makes you disappointed, what you wish to be, what you believes in, what you will be one day. So if you want to answer these questions right now, it's an open platform. You can. Otherwise, if you have any query from the beginning till this point, you can ask me. We have 4 more minutes, and then definitely Johari Window says you should ask the right people the right feedback. I will be curious to know the right feedback, and it's absolutely, I don't want my back to be pat, but I want a genuine feedback so that I can improve my things and improve my skills to work on the better areas. So anybody who is interested in this rapid fire round, if yes, then yes, if no, then no. Not a big deal. Yes, at least you can tell me yes or no. I'm waiting for you all. Okay, so let's start with this rapid fire. So Prerna ji is ready to play this rapid fire. So you are going to answer fast with all these questions. What you loves?
Reading music and meeting new
Wow,
people.
wow, that's wonderful. This was Miss Prerna, right?
Yes. Ma'am,
Okay,
can I
good.
speak? Because it is very difficult every time to just keep on pressing
Absolutely.
the. Yes.
I would love to hear others' voice too. Since 2:45 I'm listening just my voice. It's quite boring for me. Yes, yes, of course you can. So let's
Yes,
play a
ma'am.
rapid fire round. Reena ji is
Okay.
saying she loves listening music, right? You
Yeah.
wants to. You wants to.
I want to be a free person uh,
Okay.
without any bondages.
Okay, you don't want any boundaries?
No, ma'am.
Okay. That's wonderful to know. And used to be afraid of.
Reptiles,
Okay, reptiles.
especially lizards.
Okay,
Greatest phobia I have with them.
okay, reptiles. Is driven by what things makes you keeps on driving. What's your driving force?
Traveling, seeking out new things, meeting new people, then bondage between friends and family. These are the things, and
Wow.
learning new things.
Traveling, learning, meeting new people. Wow, you have
Yeah,
so many driving forces. Prenaji, there is a beautiful book and beautiful Japanese concept which is called as Ikigai. Have you ever heard of it?
and no, ma'am.
Ikigai. All of you should know about this beautiful concept of Ikigai, which says we all should have a purpose of life and we should all have a kick to wake up in the morning. If we have a kick to wake up in the morning, it means we are really thriving and not just surviving. And I can feel the yes, Japanese people are motivated by it. Yes, this is a beautiful philosophy. It has been practiced in a Japanese island called Okinawa, where the people used to live beyond hundreds. They are called as centenarians. Just because they are having a purpose in their lives, they are living so good, so happily, so healthily. So I can feel that spark in your voice, Miss Prerna, that you want to
Thank you,
do
ma'am.
this, you want to do that. That's amazing. Okay, you get inspired by.
I get inspired by ma'am many things, but the people who always are positive in their attitude and who always seek out to see the positive side of even the bad things.
Okay, optimism.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Hope and optimism are two most beautiful positive emotions vibrating at the highest frequency according to positive psychology. So, yes, definitely. You see the optimism everywhere. Okay, you are happiest when you feel happiest.
Uh, when I see that I have two sons when they are learning and they are having this positivity with their anything what they do is,
Okay,
or
means you
when
are.
I am able to educate and motivate my own students.
Wow, that's really good to know. So somehow you are building their self-esteem, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because we discussed about self-esteem. It is most of it's a part of parenting. When the parenting is good, definitely a child will develop the good self-esteem, the positive self-esteem. Wonderful. You get disappointed by
Fake people,
fake people.
unnecessary, yeah, unnecessary paid. That is what disappoints me.
Okay, you don't like fake people, right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So next is I wish I could. What do you wish you could?
I wish, ma'am, can I go off the topic? I wish I could put some sense in Indian people as of stop asking for discounts and do
Okay.
your duties first rather than asking always for rights. That is what I got to know. when I went out of the country. So
Okay.
whenever they used to see me there, the vendors used to tell no discount, no discount. So this
Okay.
I felt bad about it, to be on a lighter mood.
Oh my God, that's really wonderful to know. It's although off the track, but doesn't matters.
Yeah.
What you actually wish you can do, that's amazing, and that's important to know actually. That's the courage to say whatever you want to say, and that's the real self-awareness. I must appreciate you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, and what you believes in.
I believe in hard work as well as smart work.
Okay, that's there is no shortcut to success.
Yes.
Hard work is the only key, and as you
Yes,
said, smart work is a cherry on the cake.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Because smart
Okay,
work cannot be done without hard work. So yes, both of them are required.
absolutely. In this fast pacing life, both are required. So, the
Yes, ma'am.
last one is you will one day. What are your aspirations?
I will one day try to satisfy and suffice me as a mother and as a teacher both.
Okay, you want self satisfaction?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, as a mother and as a teacher. Wow, that was a great answer from a self motivated personality. And I should give a big hand of applause for you, Miss
Thank
Priyanka.
you.
That was really
Thank
good
you,
to
ma'am.
hear from you. Thank you so much. Okay, now it's time if anybody wants to add on in this fast rapid fire round. But since we are running short of time, I will not take much of your time. You all are here on this platform since morning. So this is my time just for 2 minutes. If I can have your feedbacks, I will be grateful to you. So any feedbacks from your side, you can unmute yourself or you can use the chat box. Okay. So thank you, Miss Kanchan. Thank you. Thank you. Gratitude has its own importance in life. And I believe that the more you celebrate your life, the more it will give you chance to celebrate. Thank you so much. So thank you. Thanks to you, all of you. Thanks to Dr. Aradhna Mishra for arranging a wonderful interactive session. And
Thank you, Mrs. Priyanka Arora, madam. I think it was a very engaging session, such a wonderful time you have spent with the participants, and I'm sure they were engaged throughout and they have learned a lot, discovering their own self. I was attending the session throughout, and I was also trying to discover and learn about myself too. It was really very interesting to go through your session. So I thank you heartily for giving your time to us today, and to all the participants. I would like to know that we have another session with ma'am that is on 24th of
yeah,
November. The last session on that day, that is Wednesday, she'll be back with us to carry out another session on power of attitude. So with this, I express my thanks to Mrs. Priyanka Arora, madam, for giving us a valuable time. Thank
thank
you.
you so much. Thank you.